So recently, or recently-ish, I guess, I came across a very cool model. One of the cooler Warhammer models I've seen in a long time. There's just one small issue. This issue being, it was an Eldar model. A Craftworld Aeldari model. Model for the new Phoenix Lord, Lycus. I think I'm saying that right, I don't know. And after seeing this, I feel like I need to walk back some statements. Normally, my opinion on Craftworld Eldar is I don't really vibe with them, aesthetically. However, here I am, looking at a model that's objectively really cool. So, I apologize. This is my formal apology. There are Eldar things that are cool. Specifically, actually, the Phoenix Lords, which are quite often one of the exceptions to my kind of just lack of care for anything Eldar related. Should be stated, I'm pretty open and honest with what I care about and don't really enjoy in Warhammer. I'm not as fervent and weird as the people who will actually, like, you know, I guess take fandom battles seriously and try to attack people for liking a faction. That's weird if you do that. In all honesty, I just have never fully vibed with the faction for like their design or their lore. It's never really done a lot for me. But anything about like the Phoenix Lords, I've always thought was super cool. So because of that, I want to gush about it. I haven't talked about them a lot on my channel, and I want to fix that. Thank you to all my channel members who make all these videos possible. So first and foremost, what exactly is a Phoenix Lord? Well, the Phoenix Lord is an immortal-ish hero. I'm gonna put a pin in that part. These legendary heroes are exarchs on specifically the warrior path of the Eldar. For those that might not know or remember, the many different paths the Eldar take is one of the methods they manage longevity. When you live such a long life as they do, you can start going a little kooky crazy. It's one of the things that led to the fall and the birth of Slaanesh. So to get around this, they master a certain skill or way of life. They take a task, they take a role, and they really master it. And once they actually get really far into that, they just pick a new job. It's pretty normal. The path system is a pretty interesting method of their culture. Now, it's not seen as anything major when they go switch paths. It's a new step of their life. People who stick fully onto the path or even get lost to it can actually lose themselves and start to lose part of their person. These exarchs and then later on the Phoenix Lords are people who are fully 100% devoted to the warrior path and fully devoted to Cain, the Eldar god of blood, murder, violence, all that shit. But these ancient Eldar are actually like immortal, kinda. It's really interesting. The Phoenix Lords can die, but like it's still technically the same person that was the initial Phoenix Lord from way back when, because it's kind of tied to their armor. So whenever a Phoenix Lord dies, because you can kill them, it takes some effort, but you can do it. You say you kill them, then a notable exarch, like a notable, very worthy elf, will be put inside this armor. They will get the honor of wearing it and becoming this person, assuming their identity, slapped inside of it. And then the soul from the soul stone of like the original person and all of the people who came before it, those souls are stored inside of the soul stone in the armor still. And then that original personality overrides the person. So it is technically like the original Phoenix Lord every single time. It's like a really interesting form of immortality. But it is because of this that they are warriors of legend and renown, known to like every single craft world. Every single like craft worlder actually knows the names of the Phoenix Lords. So it is important to note the actual exact number of Phoenix Lords is kind of dubious. We don't fully understand it, but every single Phoenix Lord is tied to an aspect warrior shrine, which is basically every single like Phoenix Lord is tied to a unit of the Eldar. Like Lycus, the Eldar I talked about like right at the beginning, that is for the warp spiders. So like that is connected. And this was all started by Asurmen, the creator of literally this entire system. He is the first Phoenix Lord and he created the first aspect warrior shrine. He also created the warrior path. This dude, by the way, it should be stated, is an absolute badass. He is so sick. I talk a little mean in the past on elves. Again, I apologize. I have to walk back some statements. He put in a lot of effort setting up essentially all of this initial systems right after the fall of the Eldar and the birth of Slaanesh. And after setting this up, he trained the initial Phoenix Lords. Like, he handpicked people he thought were worthy and trained them. And once they were fully ready to become absolute peak badasses, they then went out and created their own warrior shrines. And it's really good that he did this, because Phoenix Lords are integral to the universe, apparently, because it is prophesized that Phoenix Lords are going to be present at the final battle of the universe against the material universe and chaos. We don't know the exacts, but according to Eldar prophecy, which is usually pretty correct, I'll be honest, they are going to be there, present and integral. But with how integral the Phoenix Lords actually are to the universe, I guess, how strong is a Phoenix Lord? Please don't get me wrong, I am in no way a power scaler. I think it does a disservice to try to analyze narratives and universes in that aspect. That's not how narratives work, actually. I'm not a big fan of trying to math out a narrative or piece of art as like a mathematical equation, plug in the numbers and then suddenly someone wins. That's not how a story works. A lot of things that go into it. I'm not a fan of that. But what I can do is give a bunch of fun excuses to tell about the cool shit that some Phoenix Lords have done. So I will do that, because this is a world with big scary demons and Primarchs and all that stuff. So where exactly do they stand in that level? So for example, of some of the cool feats we have some fun Phoenix Lords like Jane Zar, a Phoenix Lord of the Howling Banshees, a very scary close combat fighter, but also is victim of an aspect of the Eldar where really they get taken out by some dumb shit, I'm gonna be honest. But she wields a curved blade, a really fun one, and a 3-pronged boomerang that's tempered in metal that is forged with like the warp itself. It's very cool. Some of the things she's done, like she apparently can actually like see the future in some aspects, because there's a scene where Eldrad, the best Farseer ever, my boy, I love him, Eldrad was trying to pull an Eldrad and utilize her for a scheme. And she was just not really taking this, and she then looked into a bunch of future timelines and just chose one that she liked and went with it. And Eldrad then saw all these future timelines just freeze. He's like, oh, okay. And then on all accounts, she is a terrifying combatant. She has a long history of just beating the shit out of things, intimidating like an avatar of Cain. So there's a lot going on. But however, he's a victim of some funny stuff, like for example being taken out by a grenade, like a single grenade by a Space Marine. I will not get super in depth here because it's a spoiler for a very good book. These very cool like immortal warriors, just imagine a singular grenade. But in all those other moments, she is apparently just cleaving through like warriors of chaos, like demons or Space Marines, just carving through them like it's nothing. Before I rant a little bit more, there's another great one I adore, Mugen Ra, my absolute boy. The sniper who insists on using way too big of weapons to snipe. I love him so much, as he uses a giant shuriken cannon. And one of his craziest feats, he took out a giant splinter hive fleet, like not a hive fleet itself. He took out a splinter ship by himself. He soloed it. It broke off from Hive Fleet Leviathan, went down to a planet. He took it all out himself. What a Chad. That is the level they can do. They can be a one-man army, but then be taken out by a grenade, because Eldar don't get treated very well. And I say this as a person who doesn't like Eldar that much. I don't care much about their lore. I don't care very much, but I do think it is a little unfair, the disparity of like their writing, because that's the thing. We have Phoenix Lords, like those are two of the very most impressive feats I could actually find, at least without pouring through every book where they're possibly mentioned. I've just not read a lot of Eldar books, so if there are cool feats that you guys can cite with like the books and stuff, please let me know. I genuinely want that information. It kind of seems like Phoenix Lords and the level of capability they can do is at the whim of the author. And that's a little rough. The authors can sometimes not treat them great and will do things like, you know, write really long, uncomfortable Eldar torture scenes, or write Eldar incredibly stupid and just wandering without their helmets on for some reason. Again, I feel like Eldar fans know what I'm talking about. These are real things that are in some of the books. Again, I'm not a major fan, but I want people who like the things they like to have the best version of it possible. If you like a thing, I want you to like it fully. I want you to have the most fun with it as you. That's all we're here for. We're here to enjoy this big, dumb, nerdy universe. And I would feel sad, fully, if one thing in particular just kept getting shat on. Kinda seems like that's the case. And that sucks. I hope with the reveal of a lot of plastic miniatures for Eldar, that's being turned around. We'll see if that is the case with Black Library. Printing takes a long time. Like actual publishing, for those that don't know, takes like years and years to actually come out, usually. So we will see. But yeah, if you like this, you should like, comment, subscribe, do that stuff, join my membership, and